guys. Welcome to Chakra Sessions. I'm your host, Polly Jo Labbé, here broadcasting live through Star Nation's radio network. Actually, I don't even know if that's what they call it these days anymore. I'm kind of old school, but through Star Nations. And we're broadcasting out into Facebook land and YouTube using Be Live. So hello, everybody. Happy new moon. The new moon is our focus today, like the energy of it. What are we going to do with it? How do we manage it? How do we harness it to create what we want in our life? And how do we bring all of that goodness into perspective, especially with what's going on there? Hi, Ellen. Yes, my pink hair. Yes, it's going to be in the pastel colors. It's going to be pink and purple and blue, but all in the pastels so that my white hair can kind of shine through underneath a little bit. But the in-between right now is quite pink. But that's okay. I'm having fun with the pink. And that's part of that. Thanks, Adrian. Yeah, I'm having fun. It's definitely one of those things. Just, we gotta have joy in our life. And if it's hair that's gonna make you joyful, well, then go for it. It's definitely been a playful thing that I've enjoyed in the last couple of years. Decided to go a little more pastel, but the transition from the really dark purples and stuff like that is the pink. And I guess the choice was kind of pink or orange, and I'm sure nobody wants to be walking around in orange hair right now that I know of. So here we are. I'm so happy to see so many of you in the house. Rachel. I love having you here, Rachel. I don't know if I've said this before, but it's like, we connected through my older son and we've had some fun, and I see you as like this like playful teacher yourself. So it's kind of nice to have you in the house. So hi. Hi, Deborah. Nice to have you. Good to see you guys in the house. Thanks about the hair. And thank you, Jackie. Glad to have you. It's so nice to kind of be back. Yay, Abby! I've missed you. Yes, you've rocked pink a number of times. Maybe you were in my inspiration. I've definitely enjoyed that. Hi, Cindy. Glad to see you. I love being the teach. That's like one of my cool archetypes. I love being the teacher. Hi, Jen. Nice to have you. Happy new moon. And let's see. Yes, always rocking it. And Carol, hello. Nice to have you here. Let's see who else. Karen, hi. We got some dragons in the house, some dragons and Pegasus, former students in the house. Loving that. And Dinah, you've done a fantastic hair job too. How you doing? Glad to have you. And Rob says oranges for deer season. Yes, and there are many deer hunters in my mom's side of the family. So, around Thanksgiving or so might not be a bad idea. And hello from YouTube land. Thank you. I appreciate that. So here we are. We're in the new moon. And, people might not understand how that impacts our chakras or how it impacts our energy, except sometimes we just notice it, right? We notice that a full moon, certain things happen, and maybe the new moon might be a little more subtle for you, or the new moon might be just as difficult. Hi, Caitlin and Lisa. Nice to see you guys. Oh, I love the tigers on that one. Hi, Caitlin. Nice to have you. Thanks, sweetie. The big thing is for me, I've always been, I have a lot of goddess energy. I know you're shocked and surprised by that. But my goddess has always been like in her bloom in the full moon. So when other people were, having crazy days or crazy things happening, I was like in the zone. It's always been a really creative time for me, and I'm just going. And the new moon was always this lull kind of thing for me. And I didn't totally understand what the energy was for each. I knew that in the burst of the full moon, when I was in my peak, that was a great time for me to really let go of the old junk and sort of bring in what I wanted to. But I didn't understand the nuance that the new moon represents. So over the past, few months, especially during, our little quarantine, I've been paying attention to how my body is and my energy and what are my chakras doing when I'm in each of the moons, whether it's the new moon or one of the quarter moons, whether it's waxing or waning, which is a whole nother thing we can all talk to Julie Hedges about maybe sometime. But in the new moon, the reason why the energy system gets relatively quiet is because it's like it's waiting for what's next. So on these days where your whole body's going, what's next? You might be questioning that yourself today. Or you might be going, what you want to happen next, and you're ready to start maybe making it happen. But we all know if we could plug in our intention to more energy, well, then it happens faster and more easily, more smoothly. And that's what the new moon is about. It's about setting clear intentions for what we want to happen. And basically, you may notice that there's like a buildup of energy. It's like you're going up the hill on one of those rides that we haven't been on in a while, the roller coaster, and you're chugging up. That's from the new moon. You get on board the roller coaster, and then you start heading up for that big drop and all that speed. Well, that big drop and all that speed is the full moon, and the chugging upwards so you can have that big momentum. That's from the new moon into the full moon. And when I was really paying close attention to my energy system and my chakras, I noticed that my chakras were doing the same thing. They were getting brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter, which sometimes can be a hard thing because as the chakra comes on fuller and fuller, it might bring to your awareness stuff that is, kind of clogging up the engine and making it not run too well. And if you're having that experience, you may be having a rough time, in different places. And by the time you hit the full moon, you're a hot mess because all this stuff got brought to the surface. But that's why doing healing in the full moon is great, because you can let all that stuff go that came up in resistance to what you want to create in this new moon energy. And so if we, on the new moon, which is today, if we ground that energy into manifestation, if we ground it into standing in our truth and our purpose, we can have so much more energetically magnetized to us. So instead of, standing out there as the law of attraction and you're like, hey, send it my way. How about if you become a superconductor, a super magnet, and whoosh, it comes right to you. Kind of cool. So that's where we're at. So let's see who else popped in the house. Oh, Christina, I was just thinking about you. You and I need to chat because you popped into my awareness a few times. And Abby too, you guys and Karen. I've been having a lot of former students popping into my awareness as my new school takes root. For those of you who don't know, I run Trinity Mystical Energy. And it's a mystery school, but it's also a school for energy medicine. And as part of that, we had to basically create a brand new school for being able to do online and be able to do what we needed to do in person. It has a whole new structure and a new formula. But I'm having a lot of fun. I don't know if Cindy's having a lot of fun. Cindy's in the house. She might have a different perspective. But it's definitely, one of the things that I set a very strong intention with in the new moon in January, and allowed the school to take root in that energy. So birthing that baby, that energetic baby in the new moon, and allowing it to get planted. And as old things came up, to release in the full moon, releasing them, and just letting the school grow. And that was my intention, was to launch the school in a bigger, fuller way, and really be in a place where it matched me, and there was room for it to grow in the future without draining and exhausting me. I'm sure you guys know how that could be. Hi, Christine. Nice to have you in the house too. Glad to have you here. Another beautiful artist there. I love the creativity and the art flow that happens when we connect to our energy centers. And that's what the Aquarius energy is bringing for us. It's bringing, I'm sure you've already heard this, but it's bringing a lot of creative flow, and it's bringing a lot of water, which can unleash a lot of emotions. Some of them pretty, some of them not so pretty, and that's okay, because we want all of the energy that we have in our body to be in motion. And that's what emotions are. It's energy in motion. And the thing that keeps coming up is that when we block our emotions or we try to stop them, we're really putting the brakes on our energy flow. And it blocks all of our flow, not just our emotions. So here we are in the new moon, and it's like we can set the intention to restore our energy back to flow. How cool is that? That way there's room for the creative ideas to flow. There's room for your communication with other people to flow more easily, even in retrograde. That's how all of this is coming about. So when we're in this place of tapping into our highest potential, that's what living our true purpose is about, and a lot of people are talking about that. It's nothing new. But are you talking it, or are you being it? That's where the discrepancy is that I've seen and experienced. And, we might get the concepts intellectually, but are we able to live them? And so in this new moon, we can live whatever intention aligns for us. And, you can change it up. You don't have to start with one intention, and then later, 2 weeks from now, you go, yeah, maybe that wasn't such a good choice. Then let it go in the full moon and start again. And take a little time, take a couple weeks to decide what's my next intention. Because remember, all of the most magical things that have ever happened in science happened in experiments. And each experiment that is out there, for everything that we have that we know, there were thousands of failures that got us to that point. Because it was like, okay, well, that part didn't work, but this part did. So let's try something new. That's how we can actually live our life, right? Is that if we don't like things that are going on, okay, change it. Set a new intention, set a new focus. set a new vision of where you want things to be, and head in that direction. And when things come up to distract you or block you, decide whether you want to keep stepping in the path of your intention and your creation, or do you realize that maybe that isn't the way you really want to go. Because I'll let you know a secret. The shortcut is usually the long way around. Anything that seems like, well, this way is going to be easier, that's usually actually the way that's harder. So when we choose to step out of our comfort zone, we're actually usually stepping into the flow. Because not everybody's going to step into, the white water rafting, and just step right in and go fast, right? You would stand there on the shore and go, maybe not. So the universe gives us a way to take a path around the water, which might take us a lot longer than if we just went, heck with it, I'm just going to go. So there you go. Hi, Nathan. Glad to have you. I'm glad everybody's loving the hair. I appreciate that. Every time that you go out, I'll be stepping too. Nice. I love when we have those references. Hi, Carol. Love having you here. Yes, Pinky. We're transitioning as I'm letting some of my true white hair underneath come in, but still having fun with it because I'm not ready for, boring hair. You guys know that about me. Who've been here, those of you who've been here know that. So as we're thinking about, Pinky Tuscadero, yes, I liked her a lot. Grace. As we're thinking about, what would we like to create in our life right now? I invite you to maybe write down an intention, maybe one little thing, and maybe you have a big thing and maybe you have a couple little things. It's usually a good idea to not write down more than 3 things, because then it's hard for your spiritual team to know what you are intending. And we're going to do a healing transmission to help you really connect to your own energy, feel it. And my team will help you and your team to see how to ground your creation energy so that your intention has somewhere to percolate. I'm seeing it like a cauldron. So it's like, it's going to cook a little bit. It'll cook until the new moon and then really launch in the new moon. Hi, Judy. Nice to have you here too. So great stuff is what's coming through. For those of you who, I haven't seen very often, I'm back online. And Chakra Sessions is going to take a new form, kind of like me. Not sure what that really is going to look like, but, we'll hang out and figure it out until probably about April. I'll switch to a new format, but my plan is to keep this time. So Thursdays at 7, I'm going to be dedicated to you, coming to you so that we can reconnect and we can create our own community. People who want to share information or who maybe want to really come together to have a safe space, a sacred place to be during all the chaos that may be still going on around us. It's nice to have a reboot, I think. And that's what my space has been like on Star Nations is, having some teaching and some learning so that you can go forward with more knowledge and really embracing the healing that we all need to connect to or maybe are missing. And it creates that rhythm of being able to do it on a weekly basis, and the fact that these are recorded and you can grab it when you need it, that's even better, right? So that on days when you're, when the new moon comes up and it's not on on a night that I broadcast, well, you can grab a hold of this and skip forward to the meditation, set your intention, and go. I just think this is so great. I love when my team does that. So one of the things that's coming up as we're in the Aquarian age is that some people are having a little extra anxiety, a little extra overwhelm. And that's because instead of, driving 30 miles an hour, we're driving, 80 miles an hour. And if you're a newbie at that, it can feel a little fast. And, some of us might be, have a hot rod or a lead foot or whatever. And it's like, all right, let's go. But some of us, that's a little bit much, it can, and then we put on the brakes too heavy. So it's like we go either like too fast or we stop altogether, and then it's hard to get the engine started again. And all of that happens when we get nervous, when we get overwhelmed, and really when we stop breathing, when we need to do that to allow room for spirit to enter. When we're inspired, it's because we make room for spirit to come in and give us, this little light bulb of like, hey, try that. Those sparks of imagination, those sparks of creativity, they come in when we create a sacred space inside of us to allow that connection to happen. And right now, things are changing or needing to change, and we need creative energy. And there's nothing more inspiring than when we're in somebody else's creative energy and their flow. I love watching artists paint, or singers sing their favorite music, or musicians just play something that they created, or again, their favorite thing that just sings to their soul. It speaks to us, right, on a soul level. And that can happen too with, somebody creating, a business app, or I don't know, or they create a really cool meal, or they write a fantastic story. It's when it's in alignment with that person, we feel the magic and we get carried away. And the moon energy, we're so connected here on the earth. The moon revolves around us, and it reminds us of, there's that pull, that little bit of resistance, and when we pull back on an elastic, if you only pull back a little bit, how far is it going to go when you try to shoot it? Or do you gently pull it back till it's just ready to release, and then you let it go, and then it can actually get some momentum. When we understand the energy in how our chakras and our energy react to the moon, and to the different planets, because boy, each planet will impact us too. But right now, just focusing on one little thing. In the new moon, it's the quiet time to start pulling back and getting ready to project our energy forward. So what do you want to create? What would you love to see in your life in the next month, 3 months, 6 months? It's a time when we can plant that seed and get it ready. And, when you can use something like a ritual, for instance, that allows you to have a little more intention So it creates another layer of intention. So before we got started, I saged the whole room, and I saged Facebook land by setting the intention. I was saging, and then I lit a candle to let my spiritual team know, hey, we're doing some work tonight, and will you please be here and help us with that? That's part of my ritual. The other part of my ritual is I use essential oils. So I chose what oil wanted to be on my body for this show. And the blend that wanted to be on was, surprise, surprise, the manifestation blend wanted to come on, which is great. And that blend is helps get the creation energy flowing and moving and going forward. So all of those amplify the intention of what we're doing. And you may have your own. Some people sit in a particular chair and they might wear particular clothes, or they might have flowers or an altar. And I have a number of different altars that are set up. And each one has its own intention. And the altar that I have lit is the one that is dedicated to creation and sacred geometry, and it pulls in all of that. So some of you might use like a Merkaba or Metatron's cube or the flower of life, or the spiral with the F name that I can't get into my brain right now, the Finucci, but something like that, spiral, because they all have
Fibonacci.
Thank you, Rob. I'm like, I could see it, but I couldn't say it. Not the right brain. So that when we connect to some of the sacred geometry, that also sets an intention. For some people, the ritual might be that you're wearing your cross or your Star of David or your Ankh, because that helps you connect to the spiritual aspect of your life and your energy field. And so whatever you want to create, I don't see there being a right or a wrong answer to that. It's all about what's your intent. And our intent is, how can we bring, something positive into our lives, and when you guys are setting an intention, remember to intend and create for yourself. We all want to create peace, well, I hope we all want to create peace, and we can focus on that. But if we create peace inside of ourselves, then we're no longer a magnet for anything that's not peace. So the best way to create peace out there is to create peace in here. So you might set an intention of finding ways to restore yourself to inner peace more frequently, because when we have that awareness, we can take that step and that energy. So that's how we go. So if you have paper or pen, you might want to write down what you would like to see happen. What would you like to create? And again, try to do the creation for yourself. Because it's a little messy when we try to create in somebody else's reality, because it may not be what's for their highest best. That's why we focus on ourselves, and we create what we feel is best for ourselves in this moment, right? And that changes in every moment. So, so maybe, you've got a project that you want to ground and get off the ground. Maybe you're writing a new book, or you're going to plant some seeds to start a garden in the springs. Martina's saying, a peaceful life for me. Yeah. So So grounding in peace and tranquility. Um, my team often talks about ease and grace. If we can bring ease, grace, and gratitude into our life, then peace follows, right? So this is a way for you to think about that. Like, what does peace look like for you? What's peaceful? What's tranquil for you? And maybe it's having quiet time every day, that you can have some sacred time to restore yourself to peace. Maybe it's first thing in the morning. Maybe if it's right before bed. Maybe it's in the middle of the day when the stress can be getting um, elevated, right? That could be one of the things. Maybe you want to create a new lifestyle. Maybe you want to um, eat healthier, or maybe you want to exercise in a way that's more in alignment with how you like to do things, more joyful. And yes, Martina's saying learning to stay there is the hard part. I think that's the hard part for all of us, because our inner critic, is always telling us what we're doing wrong. um, and sometimes we believe it. And our inner child might be bored in too much tranquility, and wants to act out and play a little bit. So finding that balance where the child feels seen and heard, but that part of you that just needs the overstimulation to stop. There's plenty of empaths in the house, and the thing that is most difficult for us is the overstimulation. Too much stuff going on, and it's happening so rapidly that it's hard for our body to process it, integrate it, ground it, get it off of us. And we go into overwhelm, or we freeze, or we eat whatever it is, whatever it is that we might do to cope with all of that. So I take a moment to think about what you would like to create. And maybe it's just a little more peace and harmony for yourself. That's very cute, Rob. So we're going to do a meditation. And in the meditation, we're going to, activate the energy that will help us in creating in this new moon. And we'll take a moment too to release anything that might be blocking our creativity or blocking our creation energy. All right. So try to get yourself comfy. If you can, you want your arms and your legs uncrossed. We want our circuits wide open, so that nothing gets blocked energetically. And I invite you to just, have a comfy spot to sit or lay down, and just give yourself a little space for just a few minutes to really connect with your soul and your spirit, and your spiritual team, your guides, your angels, your ancestors, and make room for the divine flow to flow with you, and to you and through you. So take a couple of deep breaths. I'm going to breathe, really allowing the lungs to fill. We're going to set the sacred space, the sacred container for us to do our connection and our healing in. And we're going to ask the divine to surround and protect us in a bubble of infinite love and infinite light. And setting the intention that this Healing and connection and creation energy is for the good of all and harm to none, including ourselves. We're going to take a moment to feel into our heart, allowing the unconditional love to fill it, expand it, calm it, and ground it. So sensing or imagining that beautiful heart, creating a really strong cord of connection through all of our lower chakras, down through the earth, through our feet, into the ground, connecting directly to the heart of Grandmother Earth. And in that heart to heart connection, allowing her energy to flow to us and support us. Reminding and reconnecting us to the rhythm of the earth. In this moment, and then also sending a connection from our heart all the way up to the divine masculine, to the center of creation. Clearing the pathway for the healing energy to flow to us and through us. And from the heart, feeling the energy radiate out through each of our layers of our aura in each direction, dimension, vibration, and frequency that we are able to connect to. And now inviting in our spiritual teams to guide us, connect us to our inner wisdom and the wisdom of all that is. And feeling that connection activate in our intuition, in our third eye, helping us perceive and see more clearly the direction of our intention, our life, and our purpose. Opening up the pathways of communication with our teams, our angels, our guides, ancestors, all beings of the highest, fullest, and brightest vibration available to us. Awakening our senses and our clair senses. And feeling the connection between our second chakra and all of our flow, and our fifth chakra, where all of that creativity is expressed through us, birthed through us, opening in our hips, the manifestation circuit, grounding it into our root chakra, our foundation, our support in both our physical and our spiritual lives. And inviting the energy of the new moon to connect to us, coming down from above. You might sense a flickering whitish, bluish light that may get brighter or stronger as it approaches. And allowing that new moon energy to anchor in our heart, connecting to the unconditional love, connecting to our intention in its highest vibration, anchoring it down in our manifestation circuit. In this and each dimension that we have access to, planting the seed, allowing it to begin to grow its own roots within us, as well as connected deep within the earth. And inviting our spiritual teams to help guide us and direct us as we set this creative energy in motion. Taking a moment to release any energy that may be blocking us from creating. You may be experiencing tightness somewhere in your body, like your neck, your shoulders, your belly, your back, and filling those places with beautiful love and light, breaking it apart, dissolving it, putting the energy back in motion. And taking a moment of gratitude with our spiritual teams for being here and being present with us as we set this new intention, this new direction for this moment. And allowing any excess energy to go deep within the earth or up to the divine. Bringing our energy back to this present moment. Beginning to experience our physical body. You may feel your clothes. You may feel your connection to the chair or whatever you are connected to, the floor, a bed. And just begin taking a couple of deep breaths. And with each breath, just becoming more aware of your physical environment, your surroundings. You might notice noises that are happening around you. You may smell something, like I smell my essential oils. And gently, open your eyes and begin to, rub your hands and feet so you can get back in your space. Welcome back. I hope everybody's back. But take your time. The reintegration every takes a different amount of time, and you can stretch or yawn, whatever feels good for you. Um, that's how this works. Um, so as you maybe experience, you could sense, your energy getting fuller or more peaceful or lighter. And as that energy got lighter, it's allowing room for creation energy to flow. That stuck feeling is when we're not fully breathing deeply. We are in our head and spinning around thinking about what to do next, or I've got this to do for laundry and tomorrow I got to do that. When we're not here, it's really difficult for us to create. We need to be quiet. We need to be in this moment. And we need to invite our spiritual teams to help us out. That's part of the law of attraction, is that, bring the whole team on board. But you have to be ready to ask for what you want. And, it's sometimes the asking's hard because we don't really know. But like Martina had said, maybe, just more peaceful. You guys are very welcome. Those of you who said thank you, Nathan, Rachel, and Jackie. I'm glad. I think being more peaceful is like a gift. It's a gift that I can share. Like, I can help you have a little peace right now. And maybe you let some of the crazy day or the crazy week go. And in letting that go, there was space for something even more wonderful to come your direction. And that's fantastic. Because that's how we begin to create the life and the world that we want to have around us, is by taking those moments to get quiet enough to ask for some guidance and for some help, and to really get clear on what do we want or what do we need, and asking for it. Um, there's nothing wrong for asking what you need. That's what's blocked a lot of people's second chakras is, we think we shouldn't ask for something because somebody told us a long time ago we shouldn't. But the reality is, how's anybody supposed to know what you need if you don't ask? So, and Judy's saying we need more quiet time. Yeah, most of us do. Which is funny because, many of us, have gone through periods of, isolation recently. But in the isolation, I don't know about you guys, but did you notice how much noisier you got? You're on your phone, you're watching TV, you've got something going on. Like, I don't know about you guys, but filled the space with noise. And like, because when it's quiet and we're quiet, then we're really close to our emotions. And sometimes, the emotions can feel overwhelming to feel all of our feels. And so we try to fill in the noise so we don't connect to that. But those emotions are just letting us know what direction we want to take. And so we got to get quiet to hear them. Lisa said, "Thank you, conductor." I appreciate that. I like that term. That's a term I can get behind. Um, so yeah, as you go forward, at this new moon cycle, see how often you can realign with your intention. In the next 2 weeks, just notice when you get wavered off your intention. And we don't need to go into blame or anything else. We can just be curious, like, oh, yeah, I stepped off that intention. But then realign if you really want to. Um, that's kind of how the universe tests us to see that we really are asking for what we want, not what we think we want, which is a different thing. So Judy's saying there's difference in quiet time and just being there. Yes. And we all have a different version of quiet time looks like to us, and then, there are some people, like I was an only child, so quiet time was not necessarily a good thing for me, because it meant that nobody was around, and I might not have been getting the attention I wanted, or I might have been caught in loneliness. So some people being alone, then quiet can have that connotation, but it's just remembering that quieting all the noise inside of us so we can actually hear. We can actually hear our higher self. We can hear our inner wisdom. We can communicate with our inner child and see what the child needs. If we're being super noisy, it's hard to hear, right? So yeah, that quiet is a great space. And so I will be back for chakra sessions in 2 weeks. Next week at 7 o'clock is Angel Therapy with Maureen Mann. She will be in the time zone next week. And then starting in March, I will be here. And the plan is I'm going to do every week, I believe. I may have to do it without my co-pilot because I haven't talked to him about doing every Thursday, but that's what my spiritual team is like. Step up and be consistent. So you guys know where to find me. And we will be talking about, our energy system and how to move forward with it in this new Aquarian age, because we've all gone through some major changes, even if it's just to our routine. And so how do we reground, regroup, and recreate the life and the purpose that we've been looking for? And if you guys want to find me online, want to connect with me, you can reach out to me, message me through the Chakra Sessions page, or you can also reach out to me through my website, which is www.trinitymysticalenergy.com. And, for those of you who know about my magical oil blends that I have channeled and created, most of them are now online there. We're working on rebuilding our store, our mystical boutique. So you can always take a peek and see how it's going with the crystals and the sage and all the stuff. So have a look at that and you can enjoy that. And until then, I invite you to find some quiet time for yourself and find some ways to really set some clear intentions on how you want to move forward. Even if it's just, I want to clean my room. I want some help to keep my room clean and spotless so I can feel comfortable in my living space. Cool. Great intention. So with that, you guys, thank you, Jackie. I know you're a fan of the oils. I know a number of people are here. So thank you for so many of you showing up tonight. I appreciate you. And I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye, guys. Have a great night. Mwah. Bye. Yes, Judy, I make them for diffusers too. Bye, guys.